All right, do I have volume?
Danielle? That must be Ellen. Ellen usually comes in with Danielle's. Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
I said it must be you because you usually come in with Danielle's name.
Hold on, let me fix it. I'm in 2 conferences at once, so.
Ooh,
Yeah.
multitasking. Hi, Leah.
Yeah, I jumped out of the association one.
Yeah.
How
Are
do you
you
see everybody?
in the conference?
Yeah.
How do you see everybody at
No.
once?
Do you have a sticky note? Because I need to
Just
email
one.
Leah, and seeing her face reminds me I need to email her.
Hi, Leah.
Look at Melissa and your
I don't
poochin.
either.
All right.
Wait, I can maybe switch to my cookie cam and you can see cookies on her laptop.
Okay, get over Cookie's laptop.
Am I here?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi. Hi, I'm Angela. My company uses Teams, so I haven't used Zoom much.
Gotcha. Yeah, the city likes to use WebEx sometimes, and I don't use
It doesn't
WebEx
work
very
well.
which is why Animal Care and Control has stuck with Zoom.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, good morning.
Morning.
First, we'll let everybody go around and introduce themselves so we have an idea of who all's here. I'm Dr. Fisher. I'm the Director of Animal Care and Control here in Charlotte.
Shannon Harkey. I'm the Customer Service Community Outreach Supervisor at the shelter.
Mel?
Melissa Nicely. I'm here at Charlotte Mecklenburg as well, and I do communications.
Ellen?
Hi, I'm Ellen Taylor. I'm President of Community and Strategic Initiatives at the Humane Society of Charlotte.
Thea?
Hi, I'm Ann Gross. I'm with Friends of Feral Felines in Charlotte.
Hey, Ann.
Hi.
I'm Leah. I'm the Community Cat Program Manager at the Humane Society of Charlotte.
Angela?
Hey, I'm Angela Boyles. I am the Director of Heart of a Lion Rescue in Charlotte.
And is it Shannon?
Shannon. I'm Shannon Chervanovich. I'm the
I'm
Assistant
sorry.
Director for Heart of a Lion Rescue.
Fantastic. All right, so Angela, I'm going to kind of let you drive today. I think it's probably best it be more along the lines of a Q&A so we can answer your questions.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've got some concerns. Our main, and I understand the community cap policy. I want to make sure that everyone is clear that I am completely in support of that. What we are struggling with is that CMACC is not taking healthy kittens because we are getting bombarded by people begging for help with healthy kittens that are under 8 weeks. They're not community cats, whether they've been, mom's been hit by a car, we've got people, I can't take this kitten because I've got 4 dogs. So that is my first concern. And I've spoken to several other rescue directors that have the same concerns because we just can't do it all. So we need to figure out some kind of compromise here. So, because we've got to be able to get these kittens safe, and we physically don't have a space. And I get that, I totally understand that the shelter environment's not the best place for kittens. I agree with that. But you guys have a foster network that we cannot maintain. So I don't know if the solution is putting everybody in foster homes or having a hotline. Maybe it's a combination. So I'm curious to see kind of, what you guys are capable of doing.
Sure. So I'm not 100% clear on where folks are getting that we aren't taking kittens. Because when somebody calls 311, truly any cat call that comes into 311 actually gets routed through Leah first. And then when it comes through Leah, if it's something that needs to come to us, it gets routed back to us and we address it from there. Leah obviously is far more versed in cats than I likely ever will be, so I definitely defer to her on a lot of that stuff. But we do absolutely take in kittens. Shannon and her team, Shannon just said we currently have 118 kittens in foster care through our organization.
Well, it's coming from it's coming from messages that we're getting on our contact page. I think I attached one of them in that initial email I sent. A man, and this is what triggered all of this, is because I had heard about the community cat policy, but somebody had messaged us saying, I have 3 kittens that were dropped on my in a box at my work. I've been taking care of them. I took the healthy one to Charlotte Mecklenburg. I'm sorry, I took the sick one to Charlotte Mecklenburg, but they wouldn't take the healthy kittens. And that is what we are getting from multiple people, including other rescuers. This, I mean, and I don't know where the disconnect is. I hear that y'all are taking the sick kittens, but the healthy kittens is what we are being told repeatedly that you guys are not taking. So if that's wrong, then that's great. Hi, there's Shannon, by the way, who is now on video.
So yeah, I also
received
a phone call from.
from.
You have to mute your phone call because you're going to get my
Sorry.
Hey, are you guys sitting right across
Sorry,
from
we're
each other?
sitting
Sorry.
from each other.
From each other.
Did you mute?
Yep.
Did you mute? Yep.
Okay, so anyway, I got a call from somebody who used to foster for
CMACC.
and she told me 2 days ago. She brought in a healthy kitten and was turned away from CMACC. And that's from a former CMACC volunteer in the kitten nursery.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a disconnect somewhere with our customer service team, and Shannon and I can work through that. Because, and I will be very candid with you, it does a lot of times come down to a case-by-case basis, and our first thing that we try to do is turn the person bringing them in into a foster, right? So we try to do finder to foster first, because if we can keep them out in the community, that's definitely the ideal. If they can't keep them, then we will take them in. Again, it sounds like there's likely a disconnect from and I will take responsibility for it as the director here, with making sure that our team knows what we're doing with kittens. Because if, obviously if we can get a kitten into a foster home and socialized so that it can ultimately be placed through adoption, that's the ideal, rather than just having them become community cats and stay out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's my main concern. So, so what happens right now is people walk in, I'm asking what happens when people walk into the shelter with kittens? Do you guys take them? I need to know what to tell people, Josh. Because I'm getting 4 and 5 emails before I wake up every morning. So, and we can't triage everybody. Like I work full time. So it's like, is there a hotline that people can call? Because I understand, if they can keep the kittens and help find homes, that's great. But most of the calls we're getting, it's, hey, my 4 huskies killed the kittens. I'm like, I have nowhere to put them. So can I reach out to somebody directly? Should I forward the emails? Like, how can I make it easier for you guys?
So best thing they can do as far as getting direct help from us if they're out in the community is go through 311, because that's how our calls for service get entered. If they can't get through 311, then they absolutely can bring the kittens here. Again, and Shannon just mentioned this to me, on the documentation that we sent out, and this was an oversight on my part, we didn't specify anything about age. It was just healthy stray cats.
Yeah.
So it didn't specify age on that document. So our staff likely read that very literally
Gotcha.
and did not differentiate cats and kittens. So
Gotcha.
that was an oversight on our end, and one that between Shannon and I will get corrected today.
Okay.
From that piece, though, with people reaching out and wanting to bring the kittens or cats in here, we try to route as much as we can through 311, because we do not have a phone number here at Animal Care and Control that is staffed all day. All of our stuff goes through the call centers. That's just a decentralization that the city did. We don't have personnel that are by a phone here.
Okay.
That being said, if they ask about a call for service, and 311 is the typical call center, there is education that happens continually with those call center takers about what the policies and procedures are and what updates need to happen. If for some reason they are not able to get through there, they can absolutely send an email to the animals at CMPD?
Animals@cmpd.org.
Okay. Animals@cmpd.org.
Okay.
And there are multiple staff members here primarily Shannon, that monitors that inbox,
Okay.
but it is monitored by multiple people.
Okay.
So if they're not able to get through 311 and actually get to somebody that can give them an answer immediately, emailing through that email address is the best way.
Okay. And is that response time, Shannon, is it typically like 24 hours? Is it usually same day?
Within 24 hours.
Okay.
If I am here and an email comes in, I respond
Yeah.
immediately. It's just when I leave here.
Gotcha.
Usually by 4 o'clock, and then I come back by 7:30 the next morning. So it's the overnight
Okay.
delay.
Of course. Yeah. We don't want you to sit there all day and all night. So.
Me neither.
I wish we had enough people to have somebody here all day and all night. We
I know.
don't have that many people.
Well, and yeah, I mean, when the nursery was closed, well, the nursery was closed down, but when everything was happening with COVID, we prepared like bottle baby kits because all the stores were closed and we were getting calls at 11 and 12 o'clock at night. And we're like, so we put kits everywhere. Okay. So I'm glad to hear that. Now, are you guys doing to get the kittens adopted, just so this is for my knowledge, are you guys transferring everybody to the Humane Society, or are you guys doing adoption events, or is CMPD open for adoptions now?
We never closed for adoptions. Okay. We have stayed open for adoptions the whole time. Humane Society did as well.
Okay.
It's modified as far as how many people can physically be in our buildings, and that's for safety reasons for the humans.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
We, in addition to our adoption center here at ACC, we are also up in the Petco location in Huntersville. We have the adoption center up there, and then we have multiple stores around the community that we have cats in. I will be very honest with you, we can't keep cats in the building right now. When we've got a feline here available for adoption, they are flying out of the doors adopted.
Yeah. That's a good thing. That means that TNR is working. So, so when should we direct people to the Humane Society, if ever? Is it just for the community cat program?
Leah, do you want to?
Because I know Leah does community cats, but we can't send everybody to Leah.
Definitely. So, one, if they've got kittens, probably want to send them my way so we can have a conversation about getting the adults fixed so that they never have to deal with the issue again, so the cycle doesn't repeat.
Yeah.
So send them my way to at least talk about the adults. If they are willing to care for the kittens, or they're able to care for the kittens, they're concerned about the cost of vaccines. Mm-hmm. They're concerned about the cost of the spay-neuter. We're working with Animal Care and Control. We started a new kitten program where we're scheduling people to bring the kittens in for our first round of FVRCP, a quick health check. Then we're scheduling them a second appointment where they're able to get the spay-neuter, a second FVRCP, rabies vaccine, microchip. And we're doing all that to help people that are willing to care for them, willing to help find them homes and keep them from ever having to actually enter the shelter environment. Okay. So I can help both of those options there.
Okay. And I did call the number, and it said, the voicemail for the kitten program, that little thing that y'all released, it's got a lot of information on it. So I called the number, and it said that it's a 72-hour turnaround. So it sounds like for emergencies, we need to be sending to CMPD. For non-emergent, we can send to you. Is that pretty much accurate?
It's pretty accurate.
Okay.
And to be honest, occasionally I'll still get calls directed to me from 311 that should not have come to me. Mm. I try to at least listen to everything. I'm not able to return everything immediately sometimes, but I try to listen so that if there is an emergency, I can get it back to animal control as quickly as possible. Okay. But if there's an emergency, yes, it should be directed to animal control.
Okay. And Leah, maybe you can answer this. So when I go on the Humane Society website, so we've got caring for kittens under 5 weeks, caring for kittens 5 weeks and older. So, so you guys are you asking questions to the people, are you educating them, I guess, on how to care for kittens under 5 weeks? Or are you sending everybody to the nursery?
Most of the questions I'm getting tend to be older kittens. Okay. To be honest. Most of them I'm getting tend to be, they're already eating solid food. So we're able to have a conversation more about what next. Okay. Occasionally we do get bottle baby questions. I'll do kind of a triage with them, and then I'll direct them to better resources, because honestly, people like Kitten Lady National Kitten Coalition, can answer so much more than I can in a single phone call.
Oh, absolutely.
So I like to share as many resources as I can with people.
So, Josh, are you guys still, you're taking bottle babies and putting them with bottle baby fosters, is that right?
We are.
Okay. And I'm kind of confused on the whole bottle baby foster thing, because we've had several people that were kitten nursery volunteers say that you guys aren't reaching, that y'all haven't asked them for help. Are y'all just recruiting new volunteers, or are y'all still using?
We did have a big boost in our foster parent list, so to speak. So we do have several hundred foster parents. We haven't actually had a ton of bottle babies come through here this year. We have had a few small groups that we've moved out quickly into foster. Like Leah, a lot of the kittens that we're seeing are starting to eat on their own. So we have not seen a lot of bottle babies. We have had moms with babies, which we've moved out to rescue partners.
Yeah.
But we've also not had a lot with the under 5 weeks.
Okay. Are you, when you do have the bottle baby fosters, I know there used to be a training program. Are you recruiting new and putting them through a bottle baby training program at all? Because it's only June. There's going to be more.
I'm sorry?
I said it's only June. There's going to be more bottle babies.
Yes, there will be. So for right now, we can't do any type of obvious huge training program type of thing. We do have to watch how many people we have in our building. So right now, our foster coordinator and our veterinary technicians are going over care with them individually.
Okay.
Versus having a group setting type of a deal.
Okay. All right. This flyer. Does everyone see this flyer? This flyer scares me to death. I get the point of it, but when it says, is the cat sick, injured, or in immediate danger? No, leave the cat alone. This is a community cat. As I'm sure Leah would agree with, ear tipping is a huge part of this. And I feel like people are going to see a cat. It's not going to be ear tipped. Like, is there a way to modify this flyer to educate people a little bit more on this? Because otherwise we're just going to have strays, unfixed strays everywhere. Or Leah, I mean, I'm curious as to your feedback. Community cats aren't really that's not really what we do, but this flyer scares me. So, I mean, Leah, what's your opinion on it?
Honestly, there are people that see cats and they automatically assume that they either belong to someone or they're an area cat and they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are going to see a cat and they're going to react. The ear tipping, honestly, people are still learning about that.
Okay.
It's not something that's well known. You can tell people about it, and it's still sinking in what an ear tip means. Unless it's someone that's already done TNR, people tend not to know what it means.
Okay.
So I don't know if specifying ear tipping would make a difference in that particular case.
Okay. All right. So, Josh, we're on the website now where it says we're no longer taking healthy strays. Here's why. Are you guys going to modify that to include adults? Do you know what?
Yes, we'll work. I'll work with Shannon and Melissa today.
Okay.
To get that language updated so that we have something surrounding kittens and the fact that we are still dealing with kittens.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that you took down the bottle baby and training thing. That's kind of what was very concerning. So
sorry, I missed that.
I saw where y'all took down the community cats and training of the bottle babies. So I'm glad I was glad to see that was removed. Definitely. So yeah, I think if we can get to a point where people know that, Shannon will tell you, we have raved about CMACC for years. Like, we've been so proud. So when all of this kind of happened, we were like, we were floored because, we need you guys. So it's good to hear that you're still taking healthy kittens. I'm trying to think what else. I've got a lot of paperwork here, so I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything. So the nursery is not going to open for the rest of the year. So no. Where are the 50 incubators?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Where are all the 50 incubators? Are they distributed to the fosters?
We didn't have 50 incubators.
Okay.
We had 2.
2 incubators.
Oh, really? All right. I had a news article from where the nursery opened, that said that that you guys had 50 incubators.
I want to just step in here for
Yeah.
just a second, Angela. First of all, thank you for bringing your concerns to our attention, for sure. Like, what I hate is when people in the community, this is from a communication standpoint, listen to what they're hearing through the community and they believe everything they're hearing.
Yeah.
Because as we know, things get, messed up in communication and that sort of things, just like the 50 incubators. I do all of our communication, and I have done it from the beginning in the nursery, and I wish we had 50
I know,
incubators.
right? I was like, where are they at?
Room for 50 incubators, but we definitely only had 2.
Okay.
And I can even remember where the funding came from those as well. So,
yeah.
But I did want to just say that, we appreciate that you came directly to us to ask your questions versus, like you're hearing all kinds of different things. It's kind of like that telephone game.
Yeah.
I teach a social media class, and we use that game at the beginning of it because, you'll get somebody saying something, even our volunteers, Angela.
Yeah.
And,
oh, yeah. There's even here, there's a lot of different information.
Don't
yeah.
hear everything right.
Yeah.
So anytime that you have questions about like the 50 incubators, come to us, for clarity. And we appreciate that so much because we appreciate what you guys are doing in the community, to help the cats as well. And we want, to always have a good relationship with people who are doing the same things and wanting the same things with us.
Yeah.
So I would just say that from a communication standpoint is what you're talking about is not something that is rare for us. About all kinds of programs we have.
Yeah.
People get out and then they tell 4 people and they tell 4 people, and then all of a sudden it's a huge disconnect to what's actually going on. So.
Okay. So
anyway,
there's a lot of rescuers. Yes, absolutely. And I totally agree. Even getting my research for this call, I'm getting so much conflicting information from people, So the Humane Society, are you guys doing surgeries again? Because that's one thing that we can't seem to we're getting conflicting info on.
Yeah, we restarted surgery earlier this month.
Okay.
Started in phases. We had a large backlog
of animals
that had been adopted out, altered, that of course we wanted to get back in. We always were doing any kind of emergency surgery. So if we had someone with a pregnant animal that needed surgery, we did those emergencies. We didn't stop. And the other group that we needed to help was all of those people that we postponed like 2 times that had booked. So we're slowly reopening both locations. We are starting to do transports to help those animals at risk in the outlying shelters.
Okay.
Every single day I am scared to death that my people are going to get sick.
Yeah.
It's hard to social distance and do surgery at the same time. So we've got a lot of protocol in place. I personally bought them masks because I wanted them to have face coverings. So it's happening. Leah's slowly getting back out on the street and doing TNR. So it is not enough.
It's never enough. Never enough.
And and Leah and I had some tough conversations because we're both panicking.
Yeah.
We know cats are out there getting busy regardless of a pandemic.
Yep.
They don't care.
No one told them.
Probably actually really happy we're leaving them alone. So it is happening, and it could stop today if I have a positive case in my staff.
Yeah.
Troopers have been troopers. We've got 3 amazing veterinarians and really a solid staff to you all that want to do the work. They don't want to be home. So that's what's going on with surgery.
Okay. That's good to know.
To add to that, on the phasing part, we are kind of in the final stages of reopening our public TNR so that people can bring cats to us through the front door. We're just finishing some of the final stages of figuring out how we're going to be able to do it and continue social distancing and be able to get as many cats in as possible at a time. So we haven't quite announced that reopening yet.
Okay, that's where the miscommunication probably is coming then. Okay.
So it'll probably be, if not this week, hopefully next week, assuming nothing else horrible comes down the pipeline.
Okay, so it's open to rescuers, but not open to the public yet.
Not quite yet for TNR.
Okay.
So, but we're
advocates in the community and really smart, committed people. Gosh, Angela, what you're doing, I'm so impressed. If you could help us, because we need to figure out how to reintroduce TNR, and we might have to do some type of appointment system, which we don't want to do, but I don't know how to do it and keep everybody safe.
Yeah.
So we might need your support as we're starting to do that. If you can have our backs and be like, look, this is what they got to start with first. That would be really helpful.
Okay. So we've kind of talked about what I'm going to tell the public. So is there anything, I'll be honest, there's a lot of I know a lot of people in rescue. So there's a lot of people that knew that this meeting was happening, and we're all kind of waiting because we're all getting the same calls. So Josh, Ellen, is there anything that you want me to convey to my fellow rescuers about what's going on, or that you can think of?
I think the biggest thing is that if they've got questions, to come to us directly and ask, because like Melissa said, we're happy to answer questions, and we want to make sure that everybody has the right information.
Okay.
So please just encourage them to come direct to us and ask, because going through the telephone game is how misinformation gets spread.
And when you say us, do you mean that animals? Do you mean poor little Shelly back there? Animals at cmpd.org, is that us?
So the animals.cmpd.org, or they can email me directly.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
My email is out there. I get thousands of emails a day.
Okay. And we are, I don't want y'all to think that we're just not taking healthy kittens. Like we're taking as many as we can, but we don't have a facility. So when I get emails from Mecklenburg County and we can't help, then Shelly, I'm just going to forward those to you for now. Unless you want me to email the people back and say you need to reach out to animals at CMPD. I just don't want, most of the time these situations are emergent, and I want to do it as efficiently as possible. So what's more efficient? Go ahead.
The fastest thing they can do is call 311.
Okay.
And because if it is truly an emergency, we will have an officer dispatched to go get the kitten. We don't just leave kittens out there that are in true emergent need.
Well, and I guess go ahead. I'm sorry, Leah.
In that case, if it is an emergency, make sure that the person that is calling about it is clear with the 311 caller about it, because sometimes they still decide on their own that they'll fight them about it being an emergency and try to send them to me, and I may not get it within a few hours, forwarded on to animal control.
I guess
so if someone's calling with an emergency, they need to be clear with 311 about it.
And maybe that's where there's some gray areas. We need to kind of determine what's an emergency. So and they're not all emergency. Some of them are emergent. For instance, we got a call on Sunday, or I got an email on Sunday that said, I found a 3 to 4 week old kitten in the road. I can't reach, and it was Sunday. I can't reach Charlotte Mecklenburg. I've got 4 dogs. I can't bring it inside. What do I do? What do I tell those people?
So if it's a situation like that and they can physically put the cat in the car and bring it here, that's always an option.
Okay.
So we have staff here 7 days a week.
Okay.
From 6 a.m. until 10 p.m. There's somebody in this building. If they call 311 and can't get a hold of somebody to have that conversation, coming to the facility after 7 p.m. is a little bit rougher because it's only our field operations folks that are in the building. And so I can't even say drive around to the side of the building and buzz the gate, because I can't guarantee there's going to be somebody in the room where the gate buzzes.
Yeah.
But if they call 311 and say, I am at Animal Care and Control, I have, a kitten that needs immediate attention, they're going to have a staff member meet them outside, even if we're not open to the public. Would
it be helpful for us, if we can, to try to stabilize the kittens in those situations and then us bring them to you? We've heard of rescuers that have tried to do that, and then they're being told they have to sign an owner surrender form, and it's a big thing. So, we want to save, our first priority is the kittens. Like, I don't like bureaucracy and all that crap. So, if we can stabilize them, if we have that ability, and then bring them to you, is that a good option in your opinion?
So it's never a bad option to provide the best care you possibly can prior to it coming to us.
Okay.
If the kitten, and so the caveat with a stray kitten versus an owner surrender kitten is the amount of time you've been caring for it. So if you've been caring for a kitten for 10 days, 14 days in Mecklenburg County, it legally belongs to you.
Yeah.
So by law, you are the owner or caretaker after 14 days. And so then we will have you sign an owner surrender form, because that allows us to move the kitten through the system without having to wait an additional 72 hours straight hold.
Okay. But if we're having it for 14 days, we're keeping it. So I'm talking about like, it's 9 o'clock at night, and we get these calls all the time, 3 to 4 times a week at least. So in that case, we're not going to be the stray hold, so we should call 311 hey Ann, we should call 311 or bring the kitten to you guys once we've got it stabilized. That's what I'm hearing. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And if at all possible, getting here before 10 p.m. Is ideal, because there's already people in the building.
Okay.
After 10 p.m., we've got callback staff, so it's going to take them a little bit longer to physically get here.
So if we have a volunteer, I'm just doing some what if scenarios in my head, because these are the things I think are going to come up. So Shanann gets a call. She's got a 3-week-old baby. Person doesn't know what to do. So Shanann says, okay, bring kitten to me. We stabilize it. So we have a volunteer take it to Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Control the next day once it's stabilized. Do we need to say to the front desk, hey, we're with a rescue? Like, we just want to eliminate miscommunication.
Sure.
Yeah, so if you let the customer service staff know, yes, we're with this rescue, this stray kitten was brought to us yesterday evening, we stabilized it overnight. I'll bring the kitten into our system.
Okay.
More info they have on where it came from and where it's going is best.
Absolutely. Okay. Do you have any?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have a quick question. So going forward, if somebody, is there any circumstance in which a Charlotte Mecklenburg resident would get turned away?
Sorry, I had to find it. I got it now. Sorry.
I think you have to turn your volume off.
Okay, so what was the question?
You have to turn your volume down.
Oh, now I got it. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry. That's okay. We good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my question is, what happens in the event, or is there any set of circumstances in which a Charlotte Mecklenburg resident would be turned away going forward? If they come to CMACC and they have a kitten that they found, is there any set of circumstances in which CMACC would be like, sorry, we can't take that kitten?
If they found a kitten, we have a lot of people that will find kittens in other counties, and then bring them to us. Find somebody that has a Charlotte address to bring to us. But usually they always tell where they found the kitten. If it's from another county, they'll be turned away then. They need to use that county's animal shelter.
Right.
So we have enough here. We don't need to.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And then whatever age range Josh and I work on today, if it's above that age range and it's visually healthy, then that would be turned away as well.
Okay.
That age range.
So in that set of circumstances, I'm not sure what age range you guys are looking at, but what do you do with those people? They now have possibly a cat or kitten that could be sexually mature that you've deemed not able to be entered into animal control. What direction are you giving them as far as this is what needs to happen now to prevent further unwanted population spread?
So those are the kittens that we actively work with the Humane Society and a couple other community partners to get them scheduled for sterilization surgery. We don't want to see any more kittens being born in the community than are already happening naturally, right? And as much as we can do to stem the flow of that, we're going to try to do so. So North Carolina is tricky because we cannot legally operate on an animal that is not the property of the city. It has to be done by a clinic. So as animal care and control, we can't legally operate on something until it has been through the full 72-hour process and becomes the property of the city. And a lot of times what we see, especially with kittens that are kind of outside, or cats that are outside of that kitten age range,
Okay. So just so I'm clear on kind of how this would look. A Charlotte Mecklenburg resident finds a cat in Charlotte Mecklenburg that is 5 months old. It's now outside of the desirable age of kittens and kitten adoption. That's kind of what I'm getting the sense of, that you guys would probably turn maybe something like that away. This is now somebody who clearly doesn't want a cat or planned on having a cat in their life, otherwise they wouldn't be showing up at your doorstep. How is that person directed so that they don't have to hold on to this cat? Because I think putting the onus on the public when they've found a cat that they don't want to then proceed and be responsible in getting that cat possibly TNR'd and then caring for that cat is probably not going to pan out so well for the cat. So what are the steps that CMACC or Charlotte Humane can take to make sure that that cat isn't being allowed to just fall through the cracks to go out there and reproduce again? Because, like I said, most people who are turning up at Charlotte Mecklenburg Animal Control are doing so because they have no plans in their lives of having a cat in their lives.
So that's something that is still trying to be worked out, both between us and the Humane Society and us as a community as a whole, right? Because TNR is definitely the ideal solution for these cats, but we also have to recognize that there's not a leash law on cats in Mecklenburg County. So when somebody comes in and says, this is a stray cat that you need to take, it's not. There isn't a leash law on cats in Mecklenburg County, so the term stray cat isn't something that, from a legal perspective, applies. We address nuisances, and we're taking nuisances through those avenues, but again, that's less than ideal, because typically speaking, if it's a community-ish cat that is causing a nuisance on somebody's property, they then don't want that cat back on their property, regardless of how much education, Leah and Ellen and their fantastic team provide on, but once we sterilize it, some of the behavior should be curbed. So that's something that we're still trying to figure out, because what we've got, and I agree with you, the ideal would be to take it in, hold it overnight, and then have it sterilized the next day. We can't legally bring them into our care unless they're going to stay here for the 72 hours.
Well, I mean, that could be avoided if that finder was able to turn the cat in, right?
As an owner surrender.
If they turned it in and said, I'm surrendering this cat, wouldn't that be avoided? Where okay.
And so one of the things that, with that surrender piece, one of the pieces to be mindful is that when we have somebody that brings a cat like that in, there's a conversation that is had with staff about how long have you been caring for this cat? If so, how long have you been caring for this cat? If they meet that magic 14-day number, they can sign that owner surrender form, and then the conversation turns to, are you open to us sterilizing this cat and then returning it to where you picked it up? And if that's the case, that's the route we go. Okay. But we, as the city entity, can't participate actively in the return component without that owner signing the form and saying, yes, I'm okay with it going back. The way that the state of North Carolina statute is written right now, it allows for us as an animal shelter to have 3 dispositions: adoption, euthanasia, and return to owner. Those are the only 3 legal dispositions under current state statute right now. And that's something that we've got myself through the North Carolina Animal Federation working on. We're working with Best Friends, HSUS, trying to get that language modified to at least acknowledge A, the term community cat, and B, the outcome of TNR. But we're not there yet. And being a city entity, especially an entity of the police department, our attorneys are very, very particular about the letter of the law.
Oh, I'm sure, because you have to be careful with your language that you use. So when can we kind of expect an idea of what your age range of cats you're going to accept is going to come out?
We'll have that documentation updated today.
Okay, wonderful.
And I think them having a mom versus them not having a mom is going to be important. No, because you were. Hang on.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry.
It's part of that.
Sorry. Okay, I was trying. We're sitting across from each other. So and we don't get a ton of owner surrender emails.
Now.
Yep.
Both of you are muted.
Okay, hang on. Okay, there I am, right? Okay. So sorry. All right. So, and we don't get a ton of owner surrender calls. We do get them, obviously. Is it better for us to send them to CMPD or to the Humane Society? Because I know there's an owner surrender program with the Humane Society. Which one wants it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as far and are these owner surrenders, they want to give the cat up and want us to place the cat in a new home?
Yep.
Or are these owners? Okay.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think it can be either one.
Okay.
Either one of us are doing that.
Okay.
When it comes to adult cats, I think, and we have a lot of the same challenges, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to an adult cat
Yeah.
being owner surrendered, why is it being owner surrendered?
Yeah.
Is it peeing outside the litter box? Is it, what are the factors? And then we both have to just work to get those animals placed.
Okay. I know you said it's by appointment only right now. What is the time frame once they've submitted those forms for both CMPD and the Humane Society right now?
Owner surrender by appointment.
So ours is response with an appointment date within 72 hours, but it lends more towards within 24 hours, so long as I am not on my days off.
Gotcha. Okay.
Those also go to that animals@cmpd.org mailbox
Yep.
that I monitor stuff.
Okay. And then for Ellen, sorry, go ahead.
Ours is based on capacity, so
Yep.
if we have a safe place for the cat to be, we will schedule that appointment. It could be immediately, it could be a week. We will, and to be open and transparent, we will do our best to keep the animal with the
Oh, yeah,
individual.
absolutely. We try to. So,
Anything we can do, financial support, behavior support, we will go that route first.
okay.
And then we want to make sure the animal's vaccinated before we bring it into our shelter system so we can manage herd health. So depending on that animal's vaccination status, we might offer to do vaccinations and ask that individual keep the cat for a couple more days to make sure he is going to have those vaccines kick in and we're going to have a healthy animal enter the shelter population.
Do you have a wait list that y'all keep since you can't take them? I get that you can't take them right away. How many people are on that wait list right now, you think?
No, honestly.
Don't look.
Not oversee, thank God. So yes, we have a wait list. We're relying heavily on fantastic community members. Honestly, if I was a cat, I'd rather go to a foster home than a shelter.
Absolutely.
So grateful to volunteers that are doing that. So because of the foster network, we've actually have more ability to bring in more cats. We just are having them go all through Charlotte and not just into our little unattractive shelter. Leah, is there anything else you want to add to that, since you know that system more intimately than I do?
Not too sure. Like if we get kittens, like if we get younger kittens that are already vaccinated, and up to date on their shots, they can actually go straight into our adoption system at that point. Whereas if they still need their shots and their vaccines, or they were surrendered with mom and their bottle babies, they're with our fosters a lot longer. So sometimes it just depends on the age of the cats and kittens we're getting, on how full we are capacity-wise between our foster and our shelter.
Yeah, summer stinks. I get that. So, okay. Do you guys share a foster network, or do you, are there CMPD fosters or CMACC fosters and then Humane Society fosters?
There are CMACC fosters and Humane Society Charlotte fosters. There are definitely some that cross over and do.
Yeah.
But we do each maintain our own separate database.
Okay. All right, and so the kitten nursery. So, Josh, what are you kind of thinking for next year? Are y'all trying to? You kind of dodged my question. Are y'all kind of looking to shut it down? What's going on with that?
Yeah, so the recommendation, candidly, from we had Maddie's Fund and the University of Florida Veterinary Medicine come in and do a full assessment, and they recommended we shut it down. They recommended that we not ever reopen the kitten nursery, and that came from Maddie's and UF.
Why?
And I will be honest, I was a little bit shocked when that recommendation came out. But well, I'll say I was shocked that it came out because ours has been so successful.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked that it came out because that is kind of the trend right now across animal welfare, is to discontinue those where possible. The ideal situation, again, is for bottle babies to go into foster whenever possible, because them being in a sheltering environment, regardless of if it's in a nursery or not, is less than ideal. And I think it kind of, from our perspective, depends on demand. You know, if we see a massive number of kittens that we can't manage with our foster network, then we'll look at reopening the kitten nursery. If we see kittens coming in that we can continue to manage through bottle baby fosters, we'll tend that direction.
So you almost have a kitten nursery. It's just going to be a virtual kitten nursery, basically, is kind of what I'm hearing. Okay. So, and I get that. I mean, okay.
And a lot of that was spatial restrictions within our facility. Our facility is not big enough for our operation on any given day, and so they strongly recommended reallocating that space, and a lot of it was because we had cat kennels in our lobby, and they felt strongly that we needed to get the cat kennels out of our lobby, and the only place to put them was where the kitten nursery is, because they got moved out of that space and into the lobby in order to make the kitten nursery.
Yeah.
So that was a factor of it. And then it's also that nursery, and I think it's something that isn't widely understood, because we definitely made it a priority as far as ensuring the level of support it received. But I have heard the grant from the ASPCA be brought up multiple times. That grant was gone before the first year was over.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I wasn't sure how much the grant was for initially.
Is something that there's just never enough of.
Yeah.
So we have had to constantly seek donor dollars and other grants and support from outside agencies. Melissa does a fantastic job of getting sponsorships and things from local businesses to help us with our programs. And so that nursery was something that was a large financial component, but then also staffing, because if there was ever a volunteer that didn't show up for their shift in the kitten nursery, we've got all those kittens that can't go without being fed and cared for. So we're having to transition staff who would normally be doing something else to go support that program. And that can be when you have multiple volunteers who either just don't sign up for shifts or you have gaps in shifts, it gets tricky.
Yeah. Are there certain ages, bottle babies under 3 weeks are super fragile. So we do a lot of critical care and even have other rescuers bring them to us. Are there ages that you guys just would say, hey, we're just not comfortable taking this 1-day-old, 2-day-old bottle baby? Or do you guys feel like you have a network in place if that was an issue?
We have not turned any kittens away because they were too fragile.
Okay.
We're very fortunate that we have an awesome network of bottle baby fosters who we definitely have some that have been doing it for far longer
of course.
And comfortable.
Yeah.
And so they're the ones that we would send the critical kittens to. Shannon knows all of them far better than I do because they communicate directly with our rescue and foster coordinator, who reports directly to Shannon. And then we also have a lot of staff here who will take them home and foster them.
Okay.
So we do have, we're very lucky. We've got a very dedicated team that doesn't want to see anything fail. And so they will pick them up and take them home. Our veterinarian, Dr. Whitaker, who,
I like her.
You emailed back and forth with last night a little bit. She almost always has some kind of special needs kitten in her care. I think the one she has right now has a horrible, horrible heart murmur, but is happy as a clam, so she's taking it on until such time that it's not manageable.
Okay. All right. Well, that is good to know. So, Shannon, do you have any more questions?
No.
All right. So, I think that pretty much answers everything. So, I'm going to kind of update all of the rescue community, based on all of this. hopefully you don't get bombarded. But yeah, I mean, the more communication that we have, the more working together that we have, the better. So, because you're right, we do all have the same goal. We just, the rescue mentality right now, and I'll admit, last Monday when I saw that picture of those bottle babies, community cats in training, I flipped out. But it's like the mentality is like that it's being pawned off to all of the rescuers. So I'm sure that I'm glad to hear that you guys are taking kittens. It sounds like we'll be able to partner together well, and yeah, we'll update everybody. So I appreciate.
And change is hard. Anytime there's change, it becomes a challenge. And, I think that that's something that we are being very deliberate about. We're one of 13 cities across the country that have been selected to participate in a new model of animal welfare that's focused on support services and providing support to keep animals in the community rather than having them come into shelter systems, because that's just what's better for the animals.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to be very deliberate and focused, and we're working with a lot of the national orgs on policies and procedures surrounding that. And it's a drastic shift for a lot of community members because, this is a community problem, and it's something that we have to come together to tackle. But for years and years and years, animal shelters have been, quote unquote, the answer to the problem. We'll just bring them there; they'll figure it out.
Drop them off.
And that's not the answer. We can't just have them all come here and us figure it out. We didn't make all the kittens, so we've got to depend on the community to help us support them.
Well, and Shelley,
I have a few questions too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Ann.
Okay, you can go on, Ann. I didn't mean to.
No, please go ahead, Ann.
Okay, I'm concerned about the community cat program at large, and I wondered, when somebody brings in a stray cat to animal control and doesn't claim ownership, what happens to that cat? And they're not ideal for adoption. Do they get euthanized after 3 days? What happens to that community cat?
So it totally depends, and those are the most challenging ones that come into us, right? And I'll definitely let Leah weigh in here as well, because she's got some awesome programs that we work with her to try to get them out. But when somebody brings in a community cat in that way, and we don't get information about where it came from or things like that we can utilize to put them back out, and or if it is a nuisance that we're having to address from the legal side, those pose challenges for us because we've got to find alternative routes out of the sheltering system for them. So Leah, if you want to talk about what your programs are.
Yeah, so what we've got right now is we actually made strong use of this during the virus shutdown because we actually had quite a few cats we were able to put out through the working cat program during that time. So the outdoor cats that come into animal control that show they wouldn't be good as indoor pets, or they just for some reason can't go back to where they were because of nuisance issues, or maybe the place they were living at was the woods and now it's a stretch of condos that are being built. So we do have our working cat program that basically we actually have a list of people at the moment. It's not a long list, but we do have a few people that are waiting for working cats right now that they would adopt them as outdoor cats. There's a process they go through to get the cat accustomed to its new home before they release it so it doesn't just run away and never come back. And we're able to get those cats adopted out into their new home. And we've gotten some pretty good stories from people. There's one cat that likes to live under somebody's beehives all the time. So we've had some good research, some good things come around with the working cat program to make it so that those cats do have an out and they're not facing euthanasia anymore.
Can I ask about how many cats have gone through that program successfully?
Since we opened the program, I believe we're at, I don't remember if it's 66 or 70 cats, somewhere in there, since we opened the program. Last year, there wasn't as much interest in it for some reason, but this year we've had an uptick of people being interested in adopting outdoor cats.
Okay.
So,
all right. And who covers the TNR, the medical costs of these cats? Is that the Humane Society of Charlotte, of the spay neuter?
Actually does, because for them, if it's a choice between the cat getting a new home or them having to euthanize it, they want them to come to a new home. So they're actually covering the cost of surgery for those cats.
Great, so CMPD covers the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And tame community cats that come in and they're deemed adoptable, what happens to them? Do they go immediately, Josh, into the adoption program after TNR? How does that work?
So after the 72 hours, if they are already sterilized, they immediately go into our adoption program. If they are not already sterilized, they get sterilized and then go into our adoption program. And that could mean a variety of things. That could mean that they stay here at animal control and are placed up for adoption. It could mean they're placed in one of our satellite pet store adoption centers, or that they go up to the staffed adoption center in Huntersville.
And if they have some medical needs that are treatable, do you also do that?
We do it as much as possible. So any medical situation is addressed on a case-by-case basis. So, for example, diabetes is something that is manageable, but unless we know of a placement for a diabetic cat, we are not able to manage diabetic cats while they're here in our care.
Okay. And as far as trapping community cats, is that being done or not being done by our CMPD officers?
We are not trapping community cats unless it is a case that has been worked by officers and is meeting true definitions of nuisance or bites. If we are directed by the health department, there are situations in which we have to go out and trap community cats because of potential exposure.
Okay.
And again, those are all handled very much case by case. I'm sorry, Leah, go ahead.
I occasionally send you an injured cat call that your officers will go to help out as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, sick or injured, we're always.
Okay. What about picking up, like if there's a mention or a call to your department about ear-tipped cats, say behind restaurants or behind somebody's property, how do you act on that when they've already been ear-tipped?
So it depends on how the call's coming in. If the call's coming in from the property owner or neighbors, and it's a complaint because the cats are getting into the garbage and strewing it around, things like that, we'll go out and we'll try to help mitigate that as much as possible so that the cats can stay where they are. If it escalates to the point again of it meeting that legal definition of a nuisance, then we do end up having to trap.
Okay, do you still have the cat deterrents on hand in animal control for the public?
Every single one of our officers has them, and we have a supply here at the facility. We've also made those available to Leah as necessary for her work.
Great, okay. Non-nuisance complaints, pet retention. And you still right now have the pet retention program for people who have animals that they're having difficulty with for one reason or the other?
Yes, ma'am.
That's okay, very good. You have videos I don't know if they're available to the public. Keep them out of your yard, or about shelters, or found a kitten, or a nuisance complaint. Are they available for the public to view?
I believe they are, Melissa. I think those are the ones that Julia made. Is that correct?
It sounds like they are maybe the ones that she made for release. They're on social media, all of our social media outlets.
Okay, social media being Facebook or?
Yeah, they're definitely on Facebook. I think they may initially all be on YouTube, and then she shares links. I'm not exactly sure how she pushed those out, but if you go to our Facebook page, they should all be on there.
Okay,
about
very good.
4 of them, a series of 4.
Also, getting back to the kids, I'm sorry.
Do you want me to send you links?
That would be great. Do you have my email? I'm sure you do.
Let me check. I think I do.
I've got it if you don't, Mel.
Yeah, it's, just last thing, when kittens are found out in the wild and we work with these people, whether they call us or a rescue group or animal control, Humane Society, the recommendation by Alley Cat Allies and other groups is that just to leave them be when they're in that nest, as long as they're, 6 weeks or younger. and just to observe it from a distance, the greatest danger to those kittens being hypothermia. And mother cats generally are out hunting or looking for food, whatever. So you don't want to do anything to them for how long period? 12 hours, 24 hours.
I think that in that scripting, one of the big things with these is you need to mention mom, because 5 weeks old without mom versus 5 weeks old with mom is a completely different situation. So.
Take down this video thing so I can get my ACT book.
Absolutely. Yeah, we gotta get ready to go. It's fun for anybody. So, okay. All right, and then, Shannon, this question for you, and I apologize if you kind of already answered it, but I just want to make sure I'm really clear. So when people are emailing at Animal System TV or calling 311 and get to you, are you kind of, you're talking through the situation with them to determine that the kittens are safe and then making recommendations on whether to bring them in? Is that accurate? Okay. Making recommendations on needing to send. Okay. All right. That is everything that I've got. So anything else that you want to talk to us about? Ellen? Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are doing tremendous work, and not one of us is alone. So we all sort of try to manage our little piece of the puzzle to the best of our ability. We're just going to be, and that's why Charlotte Mecklenburg was picked for this pilot, because we're a community that we need to work. So thanks for listening.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. Like, y'all can't leave. Y'all can't go anywhere.
I really appreciate you guys reaching out, and I think that that's one of the most important things with all of this is that communication. Having an open line of communication. It may take us a couple days as far as getting a meeting on the calendar, but we're always willing to have a conversation. That is something that we never shy away from. Even if we know we screwed something up, because I will be perfectly honest with you, we are not perfect, and we make mistakes, and when we do, we will own them, and we will do our best to fix them.
Well, we all make mistakes. And no one thought it was going to be easy, so. But I appreciate all of this, and I will update my fellow rescuers, and I'm glad that I know now kind of what's going on. I feel like I'm in the loop, so I really appreciate everything, everybody. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
This should be interesting. Well, we at least have something